Hi all and welcome back. In today's Dynamo script, we'll be learning how to create, or I guess merge multiple toposolids into one. And when I say merge, I don't really mean merge. What will happen is it's going to create one big toposolid and with all the points of all these smaller ones put together over the original, and we kind of have to go back and delete the original one. But unfortunately, we can't merge toposolids just straight out of Revit. Um, unlike like the old topography system. So this is, I guess, one of the ways that I pretty much use to, stitch together all these toposolids in projects that have been created like that for some reason or another. So now I know the other alternative is to export this out into a 3D DWG, bring it back in and create the toposolid off that. But I find that especially in large complex projects, when you do this, it adds in a lot more points to the toposolid, and in my experience, it just slows down, the editing process when you try to change that toposolid in terms of its points or anything. So we'll get straight into it now. Before we do anything, you need to create a. I used a model line here, 3D model line, to just trace around the boundary of the toposolid. This is what Dynamo will extract to get the boundary of the toposolid we're going to create. So you just need to set that up. I set it on a higher level just so I can get. It just makes it a little easier to read. So we'll get straight into Dynamo now. We'll start with the function, the actual core of this node. So we're going to use toposolid by outline points type and level. Now there's two here. We want to use in this one. We want to use the one that says under input by outline curves. This one's by outline polycurve. We want outline curves curve. All right. So we want to get the outline curves of these lines. So we need select model elements. And then we need curve element curve. It's probably a good idea to have it set to manual as well. So we'll connect those two together. Hit run. Oh, don't forget to select your elements. Hit run. And you can see it's pulled all the points off these lines. So let's set these guys aside. Now, we'll get into the points. So what we'll need is to select model element. And we need toposolid points. So I'll just connect those two and I'll select this one in the corner, hit run. There are a lot of points. So we need to duplicate this for however many elements you want to stitch together. So in this case I have 4, so we'll copy this 4 times. And you can also put in here, now if you have like a large project and you have all these different types of toposolids all over the place, it can be a little tricky in terms of you're going through all these toposolids and you might forget which one you've clicked. So you can possibly do a well, I mean, this has happened to me before, but so get parameter value by name. So you can hook this up. So in this case, these ones, there's a mark to it. So we'll get the mark. Mark, if I can spell or type. There we go. So we can get the mark. You can kind of keep track of what you've selected. And here are all the points in our, well, from these toposolids that we've selected. Oop, I forgot I've just duplicated them. I didn't select the new ones. There we go. So once we've got all these points, we need to combine these down into a list. Let's go list create. Oh, and hit the plus to, you know, however many toposolids you are looking to merge. Hit run on that. Now, what you can see here is we've got all the points down on the one list, but we need to flatten this list because if we were to use these points, what will happen is it's going to create pretty much, you know, a toposolid for each set of points. So it's going to create a new one for here, a new one for here. So we need to flatten list. And by 1. Hit run again. And now we can see all our points in the one list. So we'll hook that list into our points and we go back to the outline curves to our curve. Okay, so that's half of it done. The next two are pretty easy. We just need to select the type of solid. So if you have, you know, two different types of toposolids, or, you know, however many different types, you can choose which one you want, and just the level that it will be placed at. So so we get our, so I like to, I mean, I pretty much just have the one toposolid. So, I mean, you can, I guess, branch the type of toposolid, you know, the way that I'm going to do it. You can use, you know, one of these that we've already selected. But, you know, if you do have a different type, that's actually been modeled in the workspace. I just like to do a select, you know, select the one that you want to use to create it. We need to grab the element name of the selected toposolid, and toposolid by name. That toposolid type plugs into our toposolid type here. Then all we need is the level. And we want to create it on level 0. Nope, not level 1. So there we go. That's pretty much it. So we'll hit run. Oh, helps if I select the toposolid I want first. Hit run, and there we go. You can see it right here. Toposolid that's been merged, if you will. And as you can see, the older ones are still there, so you can delete them or hide them if you want on a workset or something. That's if you want to, you know, still keep them. So so yeah, so I mean, it doesn't really obviously create exact, I guess, surface. You can see there's a little bit of a, turn off my thick lines. You can see there's a little bit of a gap. Actually, it looks better on thicker lines. You can see there's like a little bit of a, I guess, misalignment. It's just because pretty much all the points that it's, Dynamo has taken from the solid, all the points are just in these corners. So it's going to create just a toposolid within that corner. And this one's obviously kind of stretched it across, on one big one, it's stretched it across and, kind of altering it. So I guess the more points you have in your toposolids, the more accurate it's going to be. But, it's not obviously that far off, and unless it's like in a place you really need an RL in that spot. I've used this process quite a few times and had no trouble with it. So so that's pretty much it. If you were to create this, I guess for the Dynamo player, you'd pretty much make the levels, the model elements, to select the type, the select model elements for all the topography points that you want, and the select model elements for the curves. Now, I haven't really set this up for the player just because the amount of toposolids can change pretty much. Yeah, and you can't set up like an input to adjust the amount of because you'll have to create obviously a new model element and toposolid point for every other different toposolid that's there. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope this has been useful. Like I said, it's not really the ultimate perfect answer to merging all these toposolids together, but until Autodesk comes back with an actual way that actually stitches these together a little bit more accurately, then I found this is the best way. I mean, maybe for something like something this small, you can use the export to DWG, but I think on bigger projects, this method is a lot easier and a lot easier to work with. So there you have it. So thanks all. Thanks all for watching. Hope you've learned something, and hope to see you again. Thanks, guys.